Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tash Teaches. I'm Tash, and in today's video I wanted to explore some of the new drum synth instruments in the Bitwig 3 beta. Let's have a little look-see here. Yeah, the 5.3 beta 3. Just yesterday, I believe, as a Christmas gift, Bitwig bestowed upon us the glorious gift of having key tracking on these drum synths. And that was something that doesn't really sound super interesting, but it is actually really fun. And I was just playing around with it and I thought I should absolutely stop myself and just do this as a deep dive with you guys here right now. So without further ado, let's jump right in and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So inside of Bitwig, we now have a bunch of these drum machines that begin with V. There's V0, V1, V8, and V9. V1, these are all just the old school kind of like legacy drum machine things that we had when Bitwig first came around. They were never terrible, but I also didn't particularly like them. There wasn't really too much that could be done with a variety of these, but cool, whatever, we've had them for years. We now have these three other versions, which are V0, which is, you can see here we've got a kick, cymbal, hat, snare, tom, blah, 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 blah. These are kind of like digital sounds, and you can do all sorts of strange FM drum machine sounds. That's never really been for me, to be honest. I think if I'm going to go for a drum sound, most of the time I like for them to sound, if not organic, at least a bit like an analog drum machine. So that's why we also have V8 and V9, which, you know, the smart among you will realize that this is probably a 808. We've even got the colors that are the same. V9 is the 909 kit. Let's bring this up. V9, you can see here they've even gone for the classic industrial silver look. And let's have a look-see, and we will see right here that as of, oh actually it was the 19th of December, they introduced key tracking on the drum synths. Which is now pretty cool because instead of just having to, let's say for example I'm going to play the kick here, instead of just being able to tune it with this, it's a great sounding kick, we now have the ability to play it up and down the keyboard, which is brilliant because this means that on one instrument we can very easily have sort of a variety of pitches, creating a far more interesting pattern than just a single note. So what I want to do is just from scratch create a cool drum groove utilizing not just the drum synths, these whatever they're called, these drum devices, but also going to play around with the funny thing that they added the other day called Freq Shifter Plus. I've been having a bit of an exploration with how this is used. I think for people who make more experimental tension-based music, like, I don't know, dubstep and whatever, the kind of stuff that's meant to make you go like this. Oh yeah, that's a fucking weird sound. I'm sure you get a lot more use out of that. For me, it was a little too excessive, but I have found a couple of cool uses that I am going to show you now. So the first thing I want to do is load up a kick drum. So I think that I'll probably go with the V9 for now, and I'm just going to slap this straight away on key tracking, because that means that I can now dictate straight away every drum sound that I'm adding in here. Just, I can say, okay, well, I obviously don't want a C3, that's way too high for this kick. So let's go for, say, a C1. I'm also just going to set this to let's go for 126. And also I want to do something a little bit swingy today, so I'm going to actually put on groove. We probably don't need that much. I'm going to go for, say, 27% groove, and let's just press play. Turn off the metronome. Now this is too long of a decay, so I'm going to bring this down. You've got a nice bunch of controls here. We've got punch, which is obviously the pitch envelope. I like that bringing down a little bit. We've got buzz, bit of noise. Shape, I guess, changes it from being a sine wave to a triangle wave. Compression gives it a little bit more punch at the beginning. We've got this click that adds a nice bit of noise there. I'm just going to make a nice basic little kick drum here. Cool, okay, so we've got our kick. Now what I'd like to do is to come up with a sort of bass line using the V8 kick, which is of course an 808 kick, and this is kind of perfect for it really. So I'm just going to go in here, and I've picked a C. In actual fact, let's go for an A. I'm going to go down here. So we're in A, we're going to do A minor, and I'm just going to do a couple of little thingamajigs here, and let's just see how this behaves. Now I don't want that note to be so long, so straight away I'm just going to go here, going to click D, I'm going to click this, and I'm going to press back on here, I'm going to press A, and that has now set the amplitude as my, the decay is my automation signal. I'm going to press Option, which it seems to be buggy. I don't think it should be the case, because you'll see that as I hold Option and drag down and I let go, that's what it should do. This is how you do stepped automation, but for some reason it's behaving a little weird. So let's just do this. The whole point of this is just to have a slightly longer note here and a shorter one there. Nice. Now, one thing I don't think I've actually dove into that much on this channel, but I use all the time, is down here, the recurrence. This just means like we can dictate how often a thing happens and how many cycles through. So we're in A here. Let's add in like an E there, and I'll show you what I mean. It would be quite nice if that only played the first time through. It goes ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. And this is then the only note that we have on the second pass through. So I'm actually going to highlight this. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to drag this up. And if I had them both enabled, nothing's changed. But because of this first one being enabled, that means that one playthrough, keep it in. And this doesn't seem like a huge thing, but when you layer these up, because each note can have, you know, a different thing. You can go up to 8. You can have different play rates of each one. You can do some pretty crazy shit. So I'm actually going to take this A here, and I'm going to do maybe an A2 here, and I'm going to put this on just the 4th. So that's not playing on any other than the 4th. I'm also going to go in here, and I'd actually quite like to make this tom short as well. And just because I don't fully know why and it wasn't super working really well, I'm just going to make sure that these actually do start a little bit before, a little bit anticipated. So let's take a listen now. Kind of nice. So you can see that this single 1-bar clip has got some interesting variation coming from it. What else could we do in here? Well, we've got now I like the drive being on all of them other than this note, so I'm just going to do the same old thing. You can see it's still not behaving in the way we would expect it to, which is okay. It's probably just a beta thing, but that's way too much. Kind of nice. What else? Okay, let's bring something else in now. One thing I also actually just mentioned is that you can also do MPE bends with this. So if I go down here and I change the micro pitch expression, I can actually stretch this out. If I make this note longer, because it is actually a pretty long note, let's just do something like this. It seems to end about there anyway. So let's just go in here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add some sort of pitch bend. Oh. Just going to add a little note here. I'm going to go up 12. We could then come back down again, maybe even go down 24. This might sound a bit weird. We'll go down 12 from that note. Kind of cool. We could even split it down here and say go down. And maybe do something like this. Can I highlight both of these and just drag them down? That's nice. Could see how this plays. Could actually go down. It's kind of nice. I'm going to make sure that the punch on these ones is pretty low, because I want these to be almost like soft. Okay, nice. So we've now got our 808 bass. Let's add in now maybe like a Let's go for some hats. I'm going to go with the 808 hat for now. Make sure to once again put it on pitch tracking. And let's go. You can hear that depending on the height of the note, or depending on the pitch, we're getting some really more metallic sounds. I'm going to bring noise up, dirt up, and maybe color, because I'm much more of a fan of that kind of hat sound than any others. Let's just put a standard open hat for now. Also just going to make sure that my volumes are right. So the kick now is coming in at -8.9. I'm going to bring this up a bit. Let's do 2.9. I want my kick to come in around -6. Maybe bring the decay down a little bit further on that kick. This is coming in just a tiny bit too hot. Nice, so we've got this hi-hat, that's probably going to want to come in about 3 dBs louder. And for now, just want to find the appropriate length for that to feel cool. Now I want to add maybe a V9 closed hat. This is the 909 closed hat. Make sure that we've got velocity sensitivity quite high. I've got the pitch thing enabled here. And I'm just going to do, make sure again we've also got, where is it? Probably density off. Or is it? Probably impact and density off. There we go. I'm going to bring the decay down short. Cool. Okay, and I'm going to add in a bunch of notes here. So let's go like this. Going to bring this one down lower. Bring this one up a little bit. I'm going to bring this down lower. Then I'm going to bring this one up a little bit. And I'm just doing a slightly different pattern than you would usually. So this is like cycling on the 5. Let's just highlight all of these. And I'm going to do a little bit of whatever they call this, velocity spread. And I'm also gonna highlight these notes now. And because pitch actually does change the positioning, I'm gonna go here to pitch. I'm just gonna do a little bit of chaos. Just highlight all these notes. Bit of chaos. There we go. So this is gonna give us a little bit of variation in the pitch. Maybe we'll also do spread. That would just increase the possibility that there's any variation. So let's take a listen to this. Maybe bring that spread down a little bit more. Also going to come down here, and I think it could be nice to bring the chance down of these. So there's only, say, a 50% chance of any of these playing. What does it sound like if we actually bring these also down an octave? Maybe we'll actually keep it at like 75, but I'm going to bring the volume down on these so they're like... I'm not loving the deviation of the pitch. It's a bit too much. So let's go back to here, and then we'll do mean, we'll do mean scale 0. That will bring it back again. I'm just going to do a tiny bit. There we go. And then maybe we'll also go in here and just put these guys up an octave like this. See what this feels like. And let's just do something like that then. Really short decay. Nice. Okay, let's bring in, say, the rim shot. I'm going to go first for a 909 rim shot. Again, making sure to put on our key tracking. And let's do something like, we'll do a C3. Oh, actually, we are on A, so we're going to do this. Nice. Now straight away I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a frequency shifter plus on a send, because I want to see what it would feel like if we do a bit of feedback and a bit of this delay. I'm not going to do really anything other than playing around with the decay and the feedback, but you'll see now how cool this actually is, and particularly if the feedback changes. Nice, but this is super mono. If I bring like the width up, now we have a variation from the left to the right, which is a really nice sound. So I'm actually going to take an LFO here, and I'm just going to put this to be moving the width back and forth. I'm going to take another LFO. I'm going to use the rate of this LFO to change the speed of this LFO. So now sometimes it moves really fast, maybe we'll move it a little bit slower. We'll move the actual rate of that a little bit down, and we'll take one more LFO to use this to change the speed of the second LFO. Let's turn this off bipolar, make it monophonic. So now sometimes it will work, it won't move. And already this is sounding more interesting. We can maybe even use that to change the speed of the final one, really getting metaception here. Now the one thing that's really going to vibe this up is changing the speed of this. So actually let's go back to this, and I'm going to take a step sequencer, and I'm going to do transport is fine, but we'll do it say like 7, and I'm just going to generate some random pattern and just make it so it's a bit more different. I'm going to use that to change the speed, and in fact let's do bipolar, and let's just do this. Maybe we'll actually go for something like 5, just so that there's like a clearer distinction between. There we go. Kind of cool, but if I add in a bit of smoothness here, now you see that it's going to actually blend between them. Maybe we'll actually go for like 7 steps. I'm going to duplicate this so that we can have something that changes maybe even this shit. I'm actually going to also say 16th notes. Or maybe we'll do 8th notes. And this shouldn't really move it that much. And we can also throw this into another send. So we're going to send that into a reverb. We'll take the convolution, methinks. I'm not loving this change here. Let's make this a bit shorter. Okay, let's add another one of these 808 things, but this time I'm going to make it almost like a little conga sound. Maybe we could do that with, let's see what other toms we've got. We've got V0. What does this one sound like? This could be cool. Okay, so let's do an A. And we'll just do your conventional dembo rhythm. And let's see what this feels like. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna bring that other hat down a little bit more even still. Now let's get a clap. I'm not sure whether we're going to want to use this. Actually, I haven't really tried the V1 clap, which is obviously the more digital clap. Kind of cool. Oh, sorry, V1. This is actually the one that came with Bitwig in the past. So let's have a look at what we've got with the claps. Okay, there's only 8 and 9. I'm going to go with 8. I do like a 909 clap, but let's give this a go. This is actually kind of nice. I'm going to do a step sequencer here, and we will say note advance, and I'm going to say 8 steps on this final one, which will be the 4th clap. Or every time we get this, every now and then I can have like a long clap. Let's just make sure that this starts again every time. So we'll do like note restart. No, actually we probably do want note advance, but there must be some way to make this reset, because it's annoying that it does that. Will it be... Okay, well fuck it, we'll just do transport, and we'll just say half note. Yeah, okay, now every time we start it, we'll do that. That's nice. Okay, and I'm also going to layer this with the V9 clap. But I want this V9 clap to come a bit before the V8. So I'm actually going to here just add a time shift and put it on milliseconds. That will allow me to bring it back in time. If any of you guys are used to the sample delay on each track in Ableton, this is how you do it in Bitwig. Kind of nice also to do, say, a random here, so that every time a note plays, we're getting a slightly different flam value. We're also getting a slightly different decay, and let's also put the pitch mode on here. Also slightly different width. And fuck it, why don't we also have every time a note plays, so we'll do hold and note, we'll also have a slightly different speed. Oh, you can't, I forget about that. Okay, it's kind of nice. We'll call this Digi-Tom. What other things on here can we change? So actually, this could be cool to do something like a step sequencer, or maybe not even a step sequencer. We'll do like par-seq, a parameter seq, and then we'll do, say, 6 here. And I'm going to do something like rumble going up there, maybe air there, maybe shape. Let's just see what this sounds like straight off the bat. Maybe we'll also do decay really long on this one. Maybe we'll also change the pitch. Maybe we'll go up 12, and on this second one we'll go up 7 or something. I can't even really see where the pitch is changing. And if we do a little bit of blend, now it's doing like a kind of cool roll. And we can also change this from transport to note advance. Might be better to actually do transport. One of these is making it far too big. Kind of cool. Now what other sounds have we got? We've got a snare here, cowbell. We've got the we've got the maracas. This could be nice. Let's do some sort of little hat pattern here. So we need to put on our hat or pitch tracking, key tracking. I'm going to turn this off for a sec. So we'll do something like this. And for this I want to have like a pretty simple pattern. We'll just go like mid to higher. And then I'm going to solo those 3. Or we're going to loop those 3. Let's make velocity sensitive pretty intense. And now we've got, can I have like a Let's also take a tool here and just reduce the width on this crazy bass. I'm also going to take, just for good measure, a tool. We're going to go down 6 here, and I'm going to add my good old favorite, the God particle on the master channel, just to give us a little bit of vibe while we're listening to this. One thing that we haven't explored as well is the new drum sequencer, or the sequencer as well, stepwise, which is kind of fun. I'm not massively into it, but I have been finding that there's some pretty cool shit that you can do with it. For now, let's also just take a rim shot here. I'm going to go for maybe the 808 rim shot, and I want to do maybe like a couple of notes, and then we'll do a couple of notes, and I'm going to make this pattern, say, 7 notes long. And if I were to just play this now, kind of cool. I want to put groove on because I want to make sure that all of this shit is grooving as it should. Let's also, just before we do that, add a bit of sidechain here. I'm going to do that with an EQ plus, and I'm going to add an audio sidechain to use that to come from the kick itself. And we'll do kick post so that if we turn off the kick, the sidechain stops playing. And let's also have a look here to see where the frequency is bending or most annoying from that kick. So I'm actually going to use a low pass or a low shelf. We'll do the same thing here on Digi-Tom. And let's maybe go back here and just make sure that that kick is a little bit shorter. maracas are sounding a bit weird. Actually sounding really weird. So with this rim shot, what we could do that's kind of fun is let's put this pitch mode on, and we'll say that we've got an A3 here. Kind of nice. Now let's say, okay, well we want the E4, or maybe do C. Well, no, actually we'll keep it as an A, we'll do a root, but I'm going to do like a different number. And we'll do maybe A5, and we'll make this one like 9 long. And because I don't want any of these to play at the same time, I'm going to add a note grid in between, and the note grid will be set to mono, which means that only one note will hit this at a time. Let's take a random, and I'm going to use this on smooth mode to just fuck around with this noise. Let's also take another just random, like a delay here. We'll do like a 1-1, because it'd be quite nice to send. Let's take a step sequencer, and we're going to use this to change the speed of these guys, making sure to turn this on to from fade to repitch. Let's change this a bit slow, we'll go for bar. I'm going to make it different on the left and the right. Kind of fun, this. I'm going to put it all in a group. See what the old Compressor Plus has to say. Maybe there's like a nice tight mode. It's kind of nice. Gonna add an EQ, roll off the low end a bit. Do that with the toms also. Maybe add a bit of the click back in the kick. Nice. Okay, one other thing that could be nice is to use a stepwise. We'll do a sort of like pad sound now. So I'm going to go for like an A3. I'm going to make all of these really slow. So we'll do a bar. Or maybe we'll actually make it half notes. I wish there was a way to do that for all of them at once. So we'll say half note. And I'm going to change it from pulse mode to gate, which means that if I have a bunch of these in like this, it's going to hold those notes rather than triggering them like individuals. So actually, let's say this one is a quarter note, this one is an 8th note, and this is a 16th note. Let's bring the lengths of these down so they're all different. This is 13, we've got an 11 there, and we'll do a little bit more of this. Now the only reason I'm doing that is so that we can have these, with the gate mode on, kind of like pad sounds happen. So let's bring the volume down. We've got an A. Let's go for a C3. Actually, we'll go for the C4, and then we'll do an E3, and then we've got a G3, and then we'll do another A4. So this is going to just be like an A minor 7 chord. So let's just have that playing in the background. Probably going to have to bring the volume down quite a lot. Let's also just make sure to turn it off still same key, and let's see what this sounds like. I'm going to bring the actual shuffle down a bit. That's nice. Let's add a little bit of sine sub to this. I'm also going to add maybe a random LFO that moves quite quickly but smoothly on the skew. But I have this be off unless a note is held for quite a while. So we'll use that to increase the amount. I'm going to keep the decay and the sustain up full, have a bit of release. Now because these are per voice, we're getting some interesting things happening. Maybe we'll also go LFO here. I'm going to do maybe not too much, 0.2. Let's do another envelope doing the same thing so that you only get the pitch modulation if a note's held for a while. Let's do another random, but this one maybe we'll do note, and it's not smooth, and it's hold rate. We're going to use this to fuck around with the panning. Let's send this through to all of the effects we've got. Bit of noise. Let's do a step sequencer here, set to 16th notes, just really giving it our best. In fact, let's do a segments, and we'll just do one playthrough. We're going to make this a 16th note, and the reason why I'm going to do this is because I want to have a sort of 16th note feel coming through here. This is in sync, so I'm going to open this up instead of using this. And then this has got to play, what's going on here? 16th note. Is it segments that I want, or is it actually curves? I think it might be curves. So we'll say curves. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go for 16th note. I'm going to get rid of all of these points, and I'm going to do this. Let's get rid of that. And we'll just do a nice triangle. Like this. What is going on? There we go. So now we've got this shape, and this needs to be in sync, although we probably need it to be groove. So let's do this. And I'm going to use this to dictate the amount that that's working. So we'll have both on per voice. I'm going to turn groove off, I'm not digging it, we'll go for sync. Let's go down an octave maybe. Maybe we'll do an LFO here set to 16th notes, triangle, smooth, but this will be synced. And we'll have this set to the amount that works. Kind of nice. Let's add a polymer real quick, just because I feel like it would be nice to have a little bit more bass. Boom, 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 boom. So. We can also do the really nice pitch thing here as well. We'll make this go up to say 12. Go down 24. We'll have this just on the 4th. Maybe we'll also do an A really short here. That can just happen on the 8th. Let's make sure that this is a monophonic instrument. Gonna add our sidechain thing. We could go back to here, and if we turn this off of gate and put it on pulse, I'm just going to all to do a random switch up, and I'm actually just going to delete what we've got here with polymer, and let's do polymer. We've got A, C, E, G, A. Let's do a B. We'll do B3, B3, or maybe B4. We'll do an A5, and we'll do an E4. We got that? Okay, so this can now be, in theory, some sort of fun little ARP sound. Sounds a bit fucked. Why is that? A, C, E, G. Let's bring the volume down. Let's not send that to Freq Shift. I'm going to click this to make it different on the left or the right. Let's go to the project-wide place now, and I'm going to take a macro, and I'm going to set this macro to just make things a bit crazy. So that's one macro. Let's do something with that on another one of the sounds. We'll also go here to whatever this pad is. Bring the volume up. So there's that. That's clearly a more device. Maybe we can actually do something on the drums here. So I'm going to go into the hi-hats, and let's just make the hi-hats. Do the same with the hats here. Let's go to the rim shot. Maybe the claps. Maybe we'll also make that send the clap through the delay. Perhaps a bit loud on that. Let's also do something with the kick, just make it punch through a little bit more. Maybe these basses, or the bass toms. We've also got these rim shot, or this one. And then we finally got the sub bass. Okay, nice. So now we've got our more knob. I probably like this sound by default to be quite a lot shorter. So I'm going to bring the volume down on that quite a lot and then use that knob to bring it back up again. So by default it's this. Maybe even quieter here. That definitely seems to increase the volume a bit too much, so... Nice, let's maybe also do something here where this decreases the amount that the delay on here is moving. We could also slightly decrease the amount of motion. I'm also going to decrease the amount that this wonky shit is happening. So it's more like a pad until it's not. Oh, that's not what we want. We want it to go the other way. So let's bring this all the way down, and that's not at all what we want. We want it to go the other way. So this knob increases that and it increases that. So let's see. And just for good measure, let's also add a quick key to be able to turn the kick off. This always feels good. I'm going to mute the clap for now. And this is obviously a bass group now. This is our kick. Kind of fun, that delay move, huh? Let's also add on the master channel an EQ that turns off with the key that brings the kick back in. Do the same with the reverb. Going a bit nuts now. Ooh, really wonky. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there because I think this was a nice little exploration of those new drum synths. Happy Thursday, happy, what would we even call this? Boxing Day to Brits, and happy creating. Also, if it is Thursday, you're still watching this, and you are interested in learning about the grid, the Bitwig grid, that is. Don't forget that there still is probably a few hours left on my 50% off mega blowout Christmas sale. You can find in the link down below. But in the meantime, much love, brothers, and I'll talk to you soon.